there will be damage that is beyond repair. Day as we speak, moving equipment and moving people as close as we can. So as soon as we can get in, we will start that effort. And recognizing also that this storm is very large. A lot of folks have compared this storm to Charlie, Hurricane Charlie. For those who are that was also a catastrophic storm that unfortunately came in about the same area as Ian, but it was actually a much smaller storm in size. It was a Category 4, but it didn't have the footprint that Ian does. You could look over my shoulder, you could see that this storm to Florida, and there are damaging winds that are now working at and repair power outages throughout Northeast Florida as well. Are going to be anxious about this storm and the impacts and the effects of this storm. I want to assure you that we are prepared as a company that is, again, training and drilling for it, or actually securing materials and equipment. So we have what we need many months ago, and now we're deploying those. Everything from tens of thousands of poles to breakers to transformers to thousands of miles of wire. We have secured those resources, and we will. The road ahead is going to be challenging. This is not going to be an easy storm to recover from. But again, we are prepared to do so, and we will not stop, and we will work 24 hours a day until every last customer is restored. To do that, we've had to bring in a lot of resources to supplement the FPL team as well. So currently we have about 19,000 people pre-deployed throughout Florida. Having come from across the country, almost 30 states now are represented here from linemen and women who have come in to help us from across the country. They are staged at different sites. We have nearly 37 sites now that are open and prepared to have workers come in order to get the power back on. We will continue to expand those sites, open new sites as needed, and secure additional resources if we need it once we get in and understand what kind of damage we're actually seeing, and particularly in Southwest Florida. Once the storm passes, we will be able to go in and assess the damage. We will do that quickly, both with people on the ground and utilizing our many drones that we have in our fleet, so we can get eyes on the situation as quickly as possible, assess the damage, and start getting the right people, the right equipment, the right resources at the right place as quickly as possible. All that said, it's going to take some time. But with that in mind, I want you to know that we will be working 24 hours a day. Now, that's not to say that every person is going to be working 24 hours a day. We will be rotating crews in and out, just like you do when you're bringing in on a football field. You bring in, a lineman, and then you run in a couple plays, and then you bring somebody else in. We'll do the same thing. People work 16-hour days, and then we want them to get some rest so they can get back out in the field safely. This is a business that requires people to be focused, careful, safe. If you're not, it will kill you. And so we definitely make sure that our people have a chance to get that rest, to get fed, and then get back out in the field and work. But we will have crews deployed 24 hours a day until the lights are back on for everybody. A couple of other points that I'd like to make before I open it up for questions. Safety is our #1 concern. not only for the men and women who are out there trying to get the lights on, but for all of our customers and all Floridians as well. Please, please keep safety top of mind for all of you who are watching this. It is really, really important, particularly for those who may be new to Florida and have never experienced a hurricane. A couple of tips that I'd like to put top of mind for you. Be very, very cautious even after the storm has passed. Just because the winds have subsided does not mean that the danger has subsided. High water is likely to be around us for quite some time, and it will hide many, many dangers. You should stay out of high water. There's always a possibility there could be an energized electric line in that water. There will be a lot of animals, from ants to snakes as well, and hidden dangers under the water. It's best just to stay out of high water. Also, I would say don't drive through high water. Again, it is very easy to go off the road in a high water situation and put yourself in grave danger. Power lines are going to be down on the ground. It is hard to distinguish between a power line and a telephone or a cable line. Don't try to do that. Just stay away. Assume everything is a power line that's energized and stay far away. Call 911, call FPL at 4 outage, and let us know. But we do know there's going to be power outages. We will be addressing this, but stay away from down power lines. For those who are operating portable generators, please follow the instructions from that generator. Pay attention to those recommendations. Make sure you plug your appliances directly into those generators. Please don't try to wire the generator into your house and then run it through your house. That has the ability to then backfeed, if you do that, electricity on the grid, and you could injure or kill somebody who is trying to work down the street to restore power. So please, if you're going to use a portable generator, plug it directly in, your appliances directly into that generator. Never, ever operate that generator inside your house or even inside your garage. Unfortunately, we've seen them every storm. People die from carbon monoxide poisoning. So please keep the generator outside of your home and stay away from open windows as well. If you have to drive after the storm, again, be very, very cautious. Not just about high water, but also with electricity out, stoplights will be out. Unfortunately, we also see this every storm. People are seriously injured or killed when they go through intersections without stopping. Treat every intersection as a four-way. Stop and be super cautious. Be defensive. Don't assume that the other driver is going to stop. Treat everyone as a four-way stop. Again, there's a lot of safety tips. You can go to fpl.com/storm for additional tips on safety. Please stay away from any down power lines, and again, stay out of high water. Other areas, you can download our app at FPL, at the App Store for FPL, as well as for Facebook and Twitter. If you use those platforms, we are on both of those. Lots of information for you at both those. So with that, I'm happy to open it up for any questions.
The first question we have is from our media relations inbox. It says, we understand and we've seen photos of the fixed wing drone. When are you planning to deploy it?
So I'm assuming you mean FPL Air 1, that's our large aircraft. That aircraft has already been deployed through its trailer system actually to the west coast of Florida. It's in a Cat 5 building. Our plan is to actually fly the drone tomorrow. We received FAA approval to do so earlier today. And so in coordination with the FAA, we will be flying it tomorrow to assess the damage as soon as the winds are low enough to be able to do that.
The next few questions come from Politico. Are there any estimates on a scale of damage or length of restoration?
Not at this time. It's too early. The storm is literally just making landfall at this time. And Mother Nature is always unpredictable, and every storm is different. But suffice it to say, this is a catastrophic storm. There will be catastrophic damage across the entire system, not just at FPL, but There are many other municipal utilities, cooperatives, and as the storm goes across the state, I would expect to see damage there as well. Remember, we've been getting a lot of rain for weeks. The ground is saturated. Many trees are going to go over because of the high winds, and then the storm surge is going to be devastating for those coastal areas.
Also from Politico, what are the biggest risks and unknowns right now?
Well, the biggest unknown is that we don't know exactly what the damage is like. Right now, our focus is to make sure that people are safe. Hopefully, people evacuated. I fear many did not. If that's the case, number one priority for the state is going to be making sure that people are safe, that the rescue efforts are successful in hopefully getting people to safety. And then after that, we'll be doing our damage assessment and looking to see how we can rebuild the system where needed and repair it where possible.
Our next question comes from the Bradenton Herald. What is the latest on FPL's Manatee Power Plant? Has any decision been made on whether to shut it down?
The Manatee Power Plant is operating normally, as well as the Manatee Battery, which is the world's largest battery system. Both are operating currently as planned.
The next question we have is, what will influence whether an area experiences a power outage? Does it matter whether power lines are above ground or underground?
There are many factors which can impact and create a power outage. Obviously, above ground lines are susceptible, as an example, to flying debris, where underground lines don't see that, but underground lines can be more susceptible to storm surge, depending again on the level of the storm surge. Large trees that fall over can get into the above ground lines, but large trees that go over can also have root balls that can rip up underground lines. So there are many, many factors and variables that impact it. Underground lines generally, though, do much better because they're simply not susceptible to the kind of flying debris that we see from that above ground lines are.
What should an FPL customer do if they face a power outage?
Well, FPL customers need to be prepared for extended power outages. And the first thing they need to do is just take an assessment of their own needs because everybody is different on how well they can do without power for an extended period of time or not. Many of our customers are elderly. They may need particular assistance. It may be best for them actually to find another place to stay, go to a hotel, because it could be an extended period of time. Again, if you're using a portable generator, be very cautious of how you do that. And then for more information, I would say monitor our website, monitor our app if you have that, and we will give you real-time information just as soon as we have it. But this is going to take some time for us to be able to do the kind of assessments that are going to be necessary, particularly in Southwest Florida, where we've seen the kind of catastrophic damage that we expect. This is not going to be something that is easy to assess in just a few hours. We will have to go in to see what needs to be rebuilt. And I think it's important to remember that safety is always our number one priority. There will be many, many instances where it is simply not safe to re-energize a home or a business because it has been structurally damaged. So while we may be able to provide power in that area, we may not be able to re-energize the house or the neighborhood because of structural damage in that area.
And the next two questions are from the Palm Beach Post. Is this the most personnel FPL has deployed for restoration efforts? How does this compare to past storms?
This is a very big storm, and we have, as I said, over 19,000 people right now that are in the field and pre-deployed. We will also look at obtaining additional resources if needed once our assessment is complete. And so we're already looking at additional ways to get more crews in, but we're also pre-positioning right now additional resources and supplies and equipment and getting the site set up. So this is a huge undertaking. This is deploying an army. And so this is, again, what we plan and drill for, but it is very large and it is very complicated. But we will have what resources we need in the field to make sure that we can rebuild the system as safely and as quickly as possible.
And the final question from the Palm Beach Post is, does FPL yet know the damage the storm has caused thus far in terms of understanding how much of its system needs rebuilding?
No, I don't know how much the system is going to need rebuilding. I can tell you that currently we have 645,000 customers that are out of power. We're able to determine that because of our smart meter and smart grid technology, but that does not tell us all of the reasons that the customers are out of power. I can't tell you if it's because there's a tree branch that's in a line, which has simply opened up a fuse, or whether or not an oak tree has gone over and actually taken out the pole that the line is attached to, or whether or not storm surge has actually come in and destroyed larger pieces of equipment or washed it completely away.